This is Joseph Hasek, and welcome to the Fired Up Network. Welcome to Game Time. Welcome. I got to get you more sports fluid in 2023. Anthony K is here. Happy New Year, Anthony.
Hey, Happy New Year, Joe. Time. I feel like we got like 20 different show names. I love
Listen,
it.
we got like 750 shows. It's not midday. It's 7 o'clock. It's evening. It should be mid. All right, before I begin. All right, just coming down the pike. I don't know if you read this or heard this. Martina Navratilova, great tennis legend, got diagnosed with throat and breast cancer. Hopefully she can beat it and everything like that. She's an icon. And Martina Navratilova, again, diagnosed with throat and breast cancer. And again, a personal friend of mine lost his mother over the weekend. Barbara Giles, my good friend Ian Giles. So thinking about you as we do the show tonight. Anthony, first of all, how was your New Year's?
It was good. It was good. I told you it was going to be low key, and a little house gathering, and we did that. It was a lot of fun. It was a good way to bring in there. It's interesting. I saw someone posted this, and I didn't think about it until I read it, and then I went around and looked. And the post said, notice how nobody this year is saying 2023 is going to be my year. I guess no one wants to risk. And that was pretty fun. The last few, we've gotten burnt a few times. So,
all right. All I know is 20. I'm going to say it. I'm the president of the province. And I'm going to say my year, but I'm going to say it's going to be iconic year because 23 is Michael Jordan. All right.
Okay.
Jordan, iconic. If we have an iconic year, fired up, fluent, and all that, and chilled for Kobe Bryant year 24 in Vegas.
All right, so this is gonna be the Jordan year. I like it.
Yeah, your Jordan year. All right, not for the Chicago Bears. That's number one.
No, it's nothing for the Chicago Bears.
All right, that's number one. And before we get NFL recap and all that, and literally the best Monday Night Football game. I don't remember a very good Monday Night Football game this late in the year. All right.
Yeah, this is. It means, I don't want to say it means nothing for them in the standings, but it does have a lot, I think, of playoff implications. Great preview game to what's to come in a couple of years. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a very good game to watch for sure. If both teams play to their standards, at least lately.
Yeah, Anthony. First of all, one team, Cincinnati, is not going to play to their standards. All right, they're going to play down. They're going to play down. Okay. And I know a lot of people, Bengals and all that, and I don't blame you. John Moxley, AEW wrestler from Cincinnati, loves the Bengals. Bengals going to lose. All right, before we begin here, we got to talk about the NFL flexing their schedule for Week 18. Saturday games, 4:30, Kansas City and Vegas, 8:15. I would have never thought they're going to flex a Week 18 game to Saturday prime time. Tennessee and Jacksonville. Go ahead. Sorry.
Does Jacksonville have to win this game if Tennessee wins? Are they?
If
they win the division?
No, they can lose the game. Tennessee has to win. If Tennessee loses, they're out. Jacksonville can still win. If Pittsburgh loses, if New England loses, if somebody else loses, Miami. So Jacksonville still could get in, but basically it's a win or end game. Because if Tennessee,
it is a win. That's what I'm asking. Is because I thought the Jags were in. Do they not hold a tie break versus the Titans?
They don't.
Okay, so that's why they fled. Okay, the Titans look horrible. The fact that they're even in this conversation is a joke because they have no business being in the Jags. The Jags are a team I don't want to meet in the first round. They know they're playing with house money. They don't know any better.
Yep.
And that's the kind of team I think you're afraid of in that wild card weekend, is a team that's just happy to be there because it can go one of two ways. They can just be happy to be there and they don't come out with enough intensity and they just get blown out. Or they say, hey, we got nothing to lose. and they rally together and they surprise the team. So that's a team that I don't want to play in the first round. But I thought they were in, so that's why I was confused by that flex. But if it's win or in, whoever wins gets the division. Okay.
All right, and then Sunday they move Detroit Green Bay to the Sunday night game at 8:20. Uh, both
That's
teams.
so mean.
That's so mean. Yeah. Well, thank God Minnesota's praying that they didn't move them to Sunday night. But anyways, let's talk about this game. The Raiders and the 49ers. All right. The Raiders with a quarterback named Anthony. Well, spit him there. And Mr. Irrelevant. Relevant now. What a contract this guy's going to come in if he does something in the playoffs or whatever. What a game. And let's talk about that as we begin. Go ahead.
Let's start on the 49ers end. I think the beauty of the 49ers has always been, at least for the last few seasons, it doesn't matter who their quarterback. It really is going to be that run game, that defense, and don't let the quarterback lose, right? I think prior to this season, Jimmy Garoppolo had won 70, 75, 80% of his starts. He's not a great quarterback. I'm sorry to break it to you guys. He's not, but he's a safe quarterback. He doesn't lose you games. He's also not going to win you a game, which is what we saw last year in the playoffs. So Brock Purdy's just going out there and he knows the offense. He's doing the things he's supposed to do, right? He throws another near 300 game, like 280, 290, somewhere in that vicinity. A couple of touchdowns and interception. He plays safe. That's what the 49ers, now with Christian McCaffrey, you got McCaffrey, Ayuk. Hopefully Debo's going to be back. Or Debo's back, right? Debo's back. Is Debo back?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Hopefully he's back and for their playoff run. So you've got all these weapons you don't need. And you're right. Purdy's going to get a contract, and it's going to be a much undeserved contract, and he's probably going to flop if he goes somewhere else. And people are going to say, "What happened? Oh, we paid this guy too much." It's a shame. It's a shame. The Raiders are a mess. They benched Derek Carr. It hasn't been right all season. They finish they're 6-10 now. They're probably finish. They're playing Kansas City next week, so they finish 6-11.
No, well, hold on. I have heard that the Raiders are going to do me a favor. If they do me a favor, Anthony.
You think they're gonna beat Kansas City?
Listen, Kansas City's not playing stuff. They barely beat Denver. All right.
No. Don't fall victim to that.
I'm not falling victim. I need Buffalo home and
you're reaching as a homer. Just think about it. Kansas City's doing what they have done in the past. They did at the beginning of the season too, right? Yeah. They're playing just good enough to win games because they feel they can just turn it on. Yeah. So they're heading into the playoffs, being some close games. That's good for the playoffs.
That is good.
If they were blowing out teams, it'd actually be worse. They're getting tested in the crunch.
Let's go through the games here. Let's start off with a game. I don't know if it's surprising, but in Philadelphia, when you're thinking they just need to win, New Orleans comes in and defeats the Eagles 20-10. And now it could be a little bit shaky there, whether they get the first seed, whether they clinch everything. What do you say there?
Unfortunately, this injury is probably going to cost Jalen Hurts what should have been his MVP.
Yeah.
And it'll probably end up going to Patrick Mahomes or something, which not to say Patrick Mahomes isn't deserving. But this was really Jalen Hurts' MVP to lose. What we've seen with him out is that this is a very different Philadelphia Eagles team. And I almost think this actually shows why he should be the MVP. Yeah. I think they're okay. What do they got? They got to worry about San Francisco at 12-4. I don't know. Again, I have to check who holds the tie breaks there between San Francisco and I want to say maybe Dallas. But Philadelphia's got a game on both of them, right?
No, Dallas beat them last game 2 weeks ago.
No, I'm saying they've got a game. So they're 13-3. For Dallas to overtake Philadelphia, they had to win all games, which they've done 2 out of the 3, and Philadelphia only had to win 1. So all they need is 1 Dallas loss or 1 Eagles win. I think, it just, like I said, this is a game without Jalen Hurts, and Gardner Minshew is not the guy you thought he was. I think Gardner Minshew didn't. He fell for the stash.
I didn't like Gardner. No, I don't like that. Drew, you know who liked it? Drew Ebanks wants to he's on.
That's because he's an Eagles fan. Yeah. No, I still again. It all rides on Jalen Hurts' health. Everything else is fine for them. I think it's going to be him. I'm surprised that without I'm surprised that they lost to the Saints. Let me say that. I'm not surprised that they lost. I thought, when you don't have your starting quarterback, I'm not surprised that you lose. I am surprised they lost to the Saints. I thought that was one they'd win.
All right. Do you want to talk about your Bears or
no? Okay. Can we talk about the first quarter?
Talk about
14-10. They look great. They just happened to lose like 34-0 in the next three quarters. But the first quarter was great.
They lost 41-10. Detroit, like we mentioned, Detroit, Green Bay.
Oh, sorry, yeah, they were up 10-7 at the end of the first quarter. Excuse me, and then Detroit went on a 34-0 run. So the Bears are who we thought they were.
All right, let's talk about a guy as old as Drew Ebanks, Tom Brady. Tampa winning the division 30-24. Stop laughing. 30-24. Tom Brady throwing for 712 yards, or no, 432 yards. Mike Evans, what a day. This just gives you when they're focused and when they want to win. And either Carolina's not that great, but 432 yards at age 45. Come on.
432 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, just to beat the woeful Carolina Panthers by 6. So as much as I've joked around and said, hey, his 3 biggest losses in Tom Brady's history all were Super Bowl win, that his 4th largest margin of victory was the season. So does that mean if you're beating Carolina by 6 and you got to put up almost 500 yards, I don't know that I'm worried about the Bucs. Now it's still Tom Brady. If they've got any time left on the clock and they're within a touchdown, you can probably count them in for a win. Do you really want to see the Bucs in the Super Bowl?
No.
Now I'll say this: the way it looks, if memory serves me correct, and I'll pull it up so that so no one calls me a liar. The Tampa Bay would be hosting the Dallas Cowboys.
Yes.
So that makes complete sense. They host Dallas. Dallas gets knocked out of the first round because that's what Dallas does. Then they go into Philadelphia and probably lose a close game to Philly. That sounds about right.
Or they beat Philly because Hurts is not yet. Because it's Tom Brady. This is what
could happen.
Exactly. You never know. You don't know. But let's say Tom Brady again, 45 years old, throwing 432 yards. I don't care. They beat them by 6 or whatever, but simply, I don't know what to say. Amazing, whatever words you want to say, but 432 yards. All right, let's get we.
Are you surprised? That's the thing.
I'm not surprised, but it's like
we may be taking Tom Brady for granted. We may be taking Tom Brady for granted because at 45 years old, doing what he's doing, and we're kind of like, we're not surprised. We're like, yeah, it's Tom Brady. Right? A couple of weeks ago, he leads the last second drive to just get a touchdown and get a win, and it played terrible game, but he got the win. Yeah, that's Tom Brady. There he goes again. Well, maybe we should be applauding him a little bit more for what he's doing.
It's like you watch it and you're like in awe, or you should be in awe. Like,
we should be in awe, but we're not surprised.
Yeah, we're not surprised. All right. So we talked about Denver, Kansas City. You want to talk anything on Denver, Kansas City?
No, I'm done talking about Denver. I think their coach stinks. That's why they fired him. Their quarterback stinks. I told you he was going to be the worst quarterback in the AFC West, and I told you Denver would finish last in the AFC West. Even with the Raiders playing horrible, they still managed to prove me right and finished last. So good for them. Thanks, guys.
All right. So you're not getting Russell Wilson jersey? All right. So the
Giants buy me one, the amount of money stealing from them.
Well, he should. The Giants 38, the Colts 10. And by the way, but we talked about Purdy getting a free agent deal. Isn't it apropos here that he's going to get a deal from the Indianapolis Colts?
You know what? Nah, they like that are on this. Right? Was it Phillip Rivers, Carson Wentz, Matt Ryan? Yeah, Purdy doesn't fit. Give Purdy 10 years before they sign him.
All right, so Giants are going to the playoffs. Kudos to, and you know what? People don't talk. We talk about Tom Brady, but Daniel Jones is, I'm not saying he's great. I'm not saying he's very good. I'm just saying unexpected, okay this year, and better than okay. And people should be talking more about Daniel Jones.
Do you think Daniel Jones is the reason they're winning?
No, I believe it's Dable and the attitude adjustment. When you come into a team, it's the culture. You always hear this, and you're the same age as me. For like 5-10 years ago, you never heard it before that. I got to change the culture. The culture in the team is not this. The culture. Well, Dable came in here, and if there's anybody that changed the culture, him and Jacksonville Jaguar, your coach, changed the culture. You have players who never played. Daniel Jones that never. I'm not going to say he was great, he was good, he whatever, but it's the attitude and culture that's making the Giants, and for that matter, Jacksonville, get good this year.
I don't want to give someone somewhere, because they're 9-6-1. First off, let me give a shout out to a friend, Coach McKay. He's the special teams coach on the Giants. I told you were going nowhere this year. You proved us wrong. Special teams look great. Giants are going to the playoffs. So you guys were right. I was wrong. Congratulations to the Giants.
Wait, hold on. Did I just hear you
I'll give it up to Coach McGahee. He said they were going to be good. They were good. So fine. And his son Trent down at University of Houston. I give them both shouts out. They were right. I was wrong. But someone's going to pay Daniel Jones. And it might be the Giants. And it's because they're going to the playoffs. But let's not get nuts here. This guy's has thrown for 3,200 yards, 15 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. He is not a franchise quarterback. He's not. He's doing enough. He's not losing games. He's not a franchise quarterback. If you got to pay him, and I've told you this before, depends how much you got to pay him. Once you pay that quarterback, if he's paid in the top 5 of the NFL, you never go to the Super Bowl. That's it. You don't win Super Bowls with top 5 paid quarterbacks, period. End of discussion. It's not a debate. It's facts. That being said, if he's going to come on the cheap, cool. If that's what you want to do, but how long? I love Saquon Barkley. I doubted Saquon Barkley. I did not think Saquon Barkley would come back the way he did as the best running back in football. How many times have we seen a running back have back-to-back healthy
yep.
carrying a team's seasons? Because that's who's carried this offense. It's been Saquon Barkley. Can he do it again? Who's done it?
Yep.
Last year, I told you Jonathan Taylor's going to come back this year. He's not going to be the same. He's not going to be the same guy. And everyone said, "Are you crazy? He's the best back and foot and blah blah." And I said, "He's not even the best back in his division." That goes to that honor goes to Derrick Henry. And what did he do this year? His offensive line looked like they were the same guys. They looked like shells of themselves for Indianapolis. So that's all I'm saying is, if you're going to pay Daniel Jones the money to be mediocre and expect Saquon to carry your offense again, I think that sets the Giants up for failure.
Let me ask you this.
I started off by giving them their kudos and they're making the playoffs, but
you also had to do it because you're friends with the coach there. But the Giants probably going to play either San Fran or Minnesota. Now, they probably don't have a shot against San Fran. Do they have a shot against Minnesota?
If it's me, I'm definitely hoping I get Minnesota.
Obviously, yeah.
And I hope it's in prime time. Actually, I'm asking if it could be a Monday. But I do not want to face that San Francisco defense right now. I think they've won 9 in a row.
Yep.
If memory serves me correct, that is not a team I want to face right now. I just don't. And listen, I we're going to get to it, so I don't want to jump too far ahead. But I'll give you this precursor to what we're going to talk about in a minute. I want 49ers to play another team in the first round, and I'll tell you why after.
All right, we'll talk about that in a second. Jacksonville doing a number on Houston. I want to talk about another guy, Trevor Lawrence, coming into his own there. I still has to have a haircut, but coming into his own. And I mentioned the coach. What a good coach does for a team when they had the debacle last year and nobody expected.
The culture couldn't have got any worse.
Exactly.
And that's why, you talked about the Raiders a minute ago. That's why I'm so disappointed in the Raiders. That's why I'm so disappointed is you've seen, you said the coach comes in, changes the culture. We saw what Daboll did. We even Peterson, right, won a Super Bowl in Philadelphia, goes to Jacksonville. That was a mess with that horrible hire that I told you last year was a horrible hire. And he changed it around, and Jacksonville took a little while, right? Took about half of the season, but now Jacksonville looks like they're headed in the right direction. You have that nasty season last year where everything goes wrong with coaches, with players, with just everything in Las Vegas, and you bring a guy like Josh McDaniel. We know he's failed. We know he's not that guy. We know he's not that type of leader. Here's a guy who failed in Denver miserably, then agrees to go, I believe, coach the Browns, or was it the Browns? I think it was the Browns. Or maybe been another team. It doesn't even matter. And then in the last minute, changes his mind after they've already said they've hired him.
The Colts.
Yes, the Colts. Excuse me. Yes, that's how they end up with Frank Wright. He says he's going to go coach the Colts. Last minute pulls out. We've seen no one out of the Bill Belichick coaching tree do anything.
About that. Yep.
That's not the guy you bring in. It's not. You bring in someone who's going to be either who's been a proven winner. He is not. Or at least is a stable person, who Josh McDaniels is not. So I was really didn't like the hire, and there you go. And that's, I think, what happened in Las Vegas.
All right. So quickly, the next couple games, 2 minutes each. Falcons 20, Arizona 19. You want to talk on that one? Probably not. Cleveland, Washington, Cleveland.
Listen, 20. The Cardinals quarterback was, what's his name? Blah. That's what I think of that game. Blah.
That's it. Cleveland beating, and Washington had to win. And Deshaun Jackson again, 7-9 Cleveland. And you know what? They got, if you're a Cleveland Browns fan, you got Pittsburgh, who needs a win, and they need help, but they're playing Pittsburgh. What a way to eliminate your biggest rival. But this week they're Cleveland.
So I'll just say, Deshaun Watson, I want you to remember, I said this would be the first Tomlin finished below 500. I need you to get a win so that Pittsburgh finishes 8-9, and I'll retire that button if he gets me the win.
And if you won't retire that button, well, as we go out, you play that, because you got 10 minutes where we're going to be joined by Justin Levine, who will talk about the Outdoor Winter Classic, Boston just defeating Pittsburgh. But I know you don't care about hockey. Let's talk about the Patriots 23, the Dolphins 21, concussion protocol. Miami at the start of December, they're amazing. Buffalo's got to watch out for Miami and all that. They haven't won a game. All right. And Miami still has a chance, but now when you need somebody else to win and this guy to win, and the same thing with New England. New England has to go to Buffalo. Whether the Bills win tonight, lose tonight, the Bills need to win next week. So the Bills have something to play for. So New England has to win. Go ahead, touch on that game also.
Listen, I hate to say this. Tua should retire. For his own safety, Tua should retire. Now, when we said Buffalo needs to worry about Miami, they did. They did have to worry about it. Tua was looking great. Tyreek Hill was looking like the first ever wide receiver MVP was going to be Tyreek Hill. But then Tua goes down, and then Tua goes down again. And it's just, listen, we know what happens, right? CTE is a thing. Concussions are a thing. And it's too bad, because he was proving his doubters wrong, I think. Right. And it's great. And I think it was going to be a great story. But now it's time to say, hey, for your own long-term health, let's walk away. And Miami, the good thing for Miami as a football, forget life for a second, because life protect the kid. But for a football team, they're actually in pretty good shape. They showed a lot of signs of improvement. Their defense actually was going to be better this season, so they can tweak that. And I know a lot of teams say this, they're a quarterback away, but there's some quarterbacks who might be available this offseason. Lamar Jackson being one of them.
That's right.
Who knows? Maybe they got hit with their tampering last year. Maybe they bring in Sean, the GM, and Tom Brady as a QB. Who knows? At 50 years old, maybe he's going to retire in Miami like everybody else wants to do. I don't like that idea, but Lamar Jackson, maybe you're somebody else. So they're quarterback away. They got their wide receivers. They got running back. They got everything you need. I think it might be time to say goodbye to Tua.
All right. So let's go.
Question there?
No question that he.
We were talking about New England. New England just doing New England when you don't expect them to.
Seahawks 23, Jets 6. Ho hum, Jets season.
Ho hum. Hi, Jets. Jets, I think, Jets are eliminated. Seahawks.
Chargers destroying the Rams. Herbert, great. Chargers is someone we got to look out for. I know we had before the show and all that. I'm telling you, we got to watch out for the Chargers. You disagree? Go ahead. I'll give you 10 seconds on that.
The way it stands today, the Chargers will go into Jacksonville and lose in the first round of the playoffs.
Are you telling me the Jacksonville Jaguars may have a playoff victory?
And the Justin Herbert is Phillip Rivers narrative will begin. Okay, because the last 2 years, his defense, poor Justin Herbert, his defense. No one ever says, hey, his defense when he wins. It's, hey, Justin Herbert won. He's the best. Like it's ridiculous. So we'll see. I hope he proves me wrong. I want him to go out and throw for 400 yards and 3 touchdowns. I don't think so. I think he's going to go in, lose to the Jags if that's the matchup that ends up happening. And you know what? He should be doing everything he can to hype up the Tennessee Titans, because if they win and he gets to go into Tennessee and get a nice win, it'll completely change the narrative on who he is.
Very good point by you. All right, with you for about 7 more minutes. Let's Green Bay demolishing Minnesota 41-17, whatever, right?
I love it. No, I love it.
No, you knew it's going to happen.
I love it.
You knew what's going to happen, all right?
Like, you know what else I know is going to happen? I believe are they playing Detroit?
Green Bay's playing Detroit Sunday night.
Green Bay, Detroit. Green Bay beats Detroit, gets the last playoff spot, gets to go into San Francisco, and we get to see Aaron Rodgers, this is the game I was talking about, lose again to the San Francisco 49ers. I love it. That would be that was my Christmas wish. It's almost coming to fruition.
And if that happens, if he loses, is this the last, I guess, 2 weeks we're going to see Aaron Rodgers in a Green Bay uniform?
Oh, win or lose, Aaron Rodgers, I would think, is done with the Packers.
All right. And the Sunday nighter was Pittsburgh defeating Baltimore.
Next year he's going to the Raiders, no? He's just going to follow Devontae left. I'm following you.
What about San Francisco? Never mind. There's so much.
San Francisco should have been anyways, but different conversation.
All right. Pittsburgh beating Baltimore 16-13. These guys always 12-9, 13-9, 16-13, 10-7, 6-3 games. But it was entertaining the last quarter.
It was. Yeah, it was the last quarter was a fun that's Pittsburgh and Baltimore. That's how they play. Pittsburgh showing some fight, and good for them. Without a quarterback, with Najee Harris not playing his best, I think it's these seasons where for me, guys like Mike Tomlin, how good of a coach they really are. Right? Not anybody, but a lot of guys can win when they're the best team. A lot of guys can lose when they're the worst team, but to take a team that's expected to, at least in my eyes, was expected to finish well below 500 and keep them in the race, good for him. That's another great job.
All right. Forget about all these games. There's one game starting about in an hour, let's say. All right.
Today?
One game.
It's a game today?
Yeah. Okay. We're at 7:30 right now. Come on. It's 1 hour. All right. The Buffalo Bills will travel to Cincinnati, the Bengals, to take on the Bengals. I'm going to say this, Anthony. We have, a lady friend of yours, right? See here. We got some.
I wouldn't bet against
picture of the on point. I got Gatorade, but I want the on point thing. Okay, so where you got that picture of the on point or whatever?
No,
that was on point.
I do not.
That was on point. All right, so if the Buffalo Bills lose, I got it under good authority that Drew Ebanks will buy a lady friend of yours on point.
What? Drew's gonna buy it?
Yes, I'm
You're
the
making the bet, and
president.
he's
I
gonna.
dictate to everybody. I'm the president. All right, that Drew Ebanks will buy it. If Buffalo win, Drew will pick Sting of Buffalo to gift me.
Okay,
All
that's
right,
fair. That's
so
fair.
there.
I
So
got that.
again,
But I'm with Mrs. Fluent all the way. She's got the Bengals. I'm with the Bengals.
are you really with the Bengals?
Super Bowl, you knew that already. But I'll say this: I think,
but you're sort of boss, the president, and all that likes the Bills. So do you go with your boss, or do you go with your real boss?
I go with the real boss. Here, let's ask the true professional. Who you got?
Well, go ahead.
Cincinnati Bengals versus the Buffalo Bills tonight. Who's winning? Say it loud and proud.
The Cincinnati.
All right, he's never on the air again. Never on the air again.
There you go. You have it. That's for kids. They know. He's never been wrong. He's never been wrong.
Wait, where's the Cincinnati Bengals helmet? I see a Chicago Bears helmet. Where's a Cincinnati Bengals helmet?
That's all upstairs where people can see it. I'm
hold on. Here,
me and my Bears stuff are locked downstairs in the studio
right now. I see for next week only when the Bills win. All right. Of course, if Cincinnati wins, Drew Ebanks is going to get an
on point. That low calorie wine on point. That's going to be our sponsor if we keep naming them.
So, and by the way, I'll give you Drew's number because I'm the president. I dictate. So when the Bills win, I want to see a helmet, Buffalo Bills helmet, and a picture of the president of the province.
Oh, you got it. Picture right here.
All right. Let's go with your preview of that. All joking aside, this is like we talked about at the beginning of the year or beginning of this show here. The best Monday Night Football game in years. You got Josh Allen, Joe Burrow. I like this guy's Joe's first name. That's all I like about him, all right? And you got Jamar Chase, Diggs. You got all these names. But you know what? When you got big names and the games come to this, you know what it's going to come to? An unsung hero. An unsung hero. Who's that unsung hero? Yes, you're picking Cincinnati for Cincinnati.
Would T. Higgins be an unsung hero?
He's right now. Wouldn't you say he's like the second best wide?
Yeah. For Cincinnati,
yeah, I'll give you that. Okay, go ahead.
No, but let me think a little deeper. Because I'm trying to see who's out. I want to make sure that I don't say like Tyler Boyd and find out he's hurt or something. Joe Mixon's backup. Is it still who's his name?
Pierce or something.
Perrine or something like that. Yeah. It's gonna be it. That's where I think it's gonna come from. I think you're gonna see like one of those short yardage kind of guys doing just. That's where I think it's gonna come from. I want to make sure. Yeah, Perrine. That's his name. Yes, that's him. He's gonna give you two scores by all two scores, and they're going to be less than 3. The difference maker. That's going to be the difference maker because the one thing I dislike about the Bills that they still don't have that battering ram to get you those hard, those long twos, those ones that where it says 4th and 1, but it's actually 2 yards. They don't have that person. But if I am going to pick someone for the Bills, Dawson Knox. Knox is your X factor.
I was maybe leaning towards Dawson Knox, but I figure this game is not going to be a blowout either side.
No, it's close. It'll be close.
This the fourth quarter. Unsung heroes here has to be the defensive front of the Buffalo Bills. I don't care who you picking out there, Milano, or I don't care, Edmonds. I don't care. Everybody, if you're going to beat Joe Burrow, you beat him as a team effort. Not one guy, not a team effort. So the unsung heroes for the Buffalo Bills to be victorious has to be the defensive front or quarterbacks or whatever. Because Josh Allen's going to do something. Joe Burrow's going to do something. Diggs is going to do something. Mixon, Singletary, everybody's going to come up to play tonight. Everybody's going to come out, and this is going to be a very, very close game. I don't know. The Bills are favored by 2.5. I still go with the Bills, but barely by 3. I actually think it's going to be 28-27. So I wouldn't even take the Bills, right? But
Over under. I'm going to give you an over under. 5 sacks on Joe Burrow. Over under.
under.
It's the over.
Now you're more fluent.
See, I'll tell you one thing. If it's over 5 sacks, Bills win. Bills win. You're giving me 5 sacks against Joe Burrow, and you're telling me
6
Buffalo's
sacks
gonna
and you lose.
Sorry?
You're going to be angry. 6 sacks and you lose. And you lose 31-29 on a McPherson field goal.
Okay, this is Cincinnati Bengals.
On
Not
a
the Kansas City
McPherson
Chiefs.
field goal,
You're
even. I'm
gonna tell me
telling
they're
you.
going to score in
I'm
third.
telling you, going to lose on. Not only am I'm telling you every detail of this game. It's like I went into the future and watched it.
But I'm telling you this one.
I got into my DeLorean. I hit 88 miles an hour. I went and checked out the game, and I'm back.
Listen, so you're telling me they're going to have 6 sacks. You're telling me they're going to lose 31-29.
Yep. On
And
a
they're gonna
McPherson
lose
field
what?
goal.
On a McPherson field goal. So the Buffalo Bills will be leading 29-28 with seconds remaining.
Yep.
If
Joe
that
Burrow's
is- okay,
going
I'll make you
to hit.
more of a deal.
You want more? Going to hit T. Higgins the middle. He's going to go down on his knee. They're going to come. McPherson comes out and kicks the game winner. I'm giving you all the details, man.
All right,
I've seen it.
If all your details come this, I'll believe it here.
If any of this comes true, I
Yes.
become assistant mayor of all the provinces of Canada.
No, you're vice president.
Oh, whatever, sure.
Vice president, and because I need somebody to learn French. So you're Greek, but
oui.
you need to learn French, okay? So
Yeah.
you're the vice president of the provinces of Canada, and I'm the mayor-elect of North America.
I heard. Congratulations.
Yeah, you see, thank you. Do I get your vote? Anyways, so anything else that you want to touch on? Forget NFL, whatever. Any in the sports world. We got a couple minutes before we're joined by somebody else. Go ahead.
No. It's a wonderful time. This is what I love. Football's we're getting the games that matter, getting ready for the playoffs. I will say this, for all those, because I've been hearing this a lot, for all those people saying, look at Christmas Day. Look at Christmas. I don't know if you saw the numbers yet.
Yeah.
Average 4 million views per NBA game. Average 20 million views for the NFL. But it's the last weeks of the NFL. NFL games matter more in weeks 15, 16, and 17. Of course, you're going to be watching those games versus game 30 in the NBA. You can sleep until February and then start watching the NBA. You can, in most cases, you could Super Bowl, wake up the next day and start following basketball. Sad to say, with 82 games, it's just you can do that. So I'm not surprised. I wouldn't weigh too much into it. I will say this: they're only U.S. numbers. Those are only U.S. numbers, and the one thing football is bigger than basketball, NFL, NBA in the U.S. But globally, I'd like to see what those numbers look like because I think that changes things.
And since we're here, what did you think of the college football playoffs? The 2 games, Georgia eking out a victory, put it that way, and TCU upsetting Michigan. I know we're in Toronto and we have a lot of fans in Michigan and all that, but next Monday, the college national championship, Georgia against TCU. Georgia's favored by 12.5 points right now. What do you say?
Well, I had Georgia at the beginning, so I'll stick with Georgia as national champs again. TCU was a phenomenal story, but at what point does Michigan say, "Hey, Mr. Harbaugh, thank you very much. Have a nice day"? It's just,
I know Denver wants him.
There's a few NFL teams, the few NFL teams that want them to lead them to the Super Bowl and lose. But he can't win he hasn't shown the ability to win the big game. And I think he's got like a lifetime. What does he have? Like a 120-year contract with Michigan. Yeah. But you know what? I think he's more suited to the NFL anyways. So I think this is the year. I think this year he steps away.
All right. So tell everybody how you get more fluent.
Sports_fluent. Twitter, TikTok, and IG. You can also check out Players Choice YouTube. I'm on there 3 nights a week with the panel, Fluent and Chill, and Players Choice Gridiron. So basketball, football, basketball on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays. And then obviously here.
And here on the Fired Up Network. And who's going to win tonight?
Can I say anyone other than the Bills?
You can say, but I don't know if you're going to be ever.
I already told you, 31-29. McPherson with a field goal at the end.
So should I make that call to Drew Ebanks for about the on-point thing?
Absolutely.
All right, so go tell your lovely friend we got a bet, and stay tuned.
You can just send me the wine now.
No, Drew, call Drew, not me. Call. All right, on point. Every location, he's probably drinking that wine since New Year's Eve. Come on. All right, thanks a lot, Anthony.
That was on point.
See, that was you're caught. Never mind. All right, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. We're joined now by thanks, Anthony.
All right, guys, take care.
Take care. We're joined by Justin Levine to talk about the Winter Classic here, and of course, a couple other NHL and of course World Juniors. First of all, Justin, Happy New Year, all the best. We'll also talk just a little bit about Toronto Six, but the outdoor game, Fenway Park in Boston, 2 periods, good for Pittsburgh. Third period, not so good, or I shouldn't say. DeBrusque coming up and scoring 2 goals. The Pittsburgh Penguins losing after leading 1-0 to the Boston Bruins. Boston winning the Winter Classic. And by the way, Justin, I don't know if you know this. 3 weeks ago, I came on here with a good guy, Steve Carney of Tampa, said the next Winter Classic, I think you were on also, next Winter Classic will be in Seattle. It will be Vegas and Seattle. And what happens? They announce that the Winter Classic next year, January 1st, 2024, will be in AT&T Park, the home of the Seattle Mariners, Vegas, and the Seattle Kraken. And nobody says thank you to me. You always credit some guy named Elliot something or other. Why don't you credit network?
One, or at least that's not the way it looked. I got an email to let me know. So exciting times.
You had an email. I told this story 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, well, now it's official.
Why don't you say Fired Up Network broke the story?
If I decide to write about this later, I will.
All right. So that's number one. What did you think of the overall game at Fenway Park tonight?
The atmosphere was really neat. I think that the NHL continues to nail all the details when they're doing things like this. From the second the players walked in wearing the 1923 version of the Red Sox uniforms, and with the Pirates or Penguins wearing the Pirates, I should say, to the field details, everything kind of went off without a hitch. And then for Boston to pull back in the third and come out with the win at home, kind of completed what was a really, really neat day in Boston.
All right. Yeah, that was I'm going to say this, the ice for the first time that I can remember in a Winter Classic, no problems with the ice.
The ice was pristine. They covered it, and they only took off the covers about 45 minutes before puck drop. It was perfect.
Really, really good with the ice. Again, Boston Bruins defeating Marty Roberts, Pittsburgh Penguins 2-1. And the jerseys, I got to say, for both teams, really good. Jari getting fit in the first period. That set back Pittsburgh there, but really, really got to applaud the NHL for that one. Really, really good to see the Winter Classic, and really, game was good also. Game was really good also.
It was, I will admit, it was kind of boring in the second period, but it got better. And how could you not be entertained with the way that this game ended? So really, overall, 10 out of 10.
All right. So that game. Now we're going to talk about your Canadians. What was the score at Saturday's game?
I believe it was 9-2, and it wasn't a good one.
Yeah. What was the score a couple days ago when they lost? I forgot that they lost 7-2.
I'm pretty sure it was either 7-2 or 9-2 for that one too.
So they are looking that they may get the first pick overall.
Well, here's the thing. This could just be a bad stretch. It might not be a bad stretch. It might be they're a bad team and who's rebuilding. So,
as I mentioned, the first pick overall will be who?
Well, I would like it to be Montreal, but
no, I'm saying who do you think will be the first overall pick? Connor?
It's going to be Connor Bedard. I mean, that goes without a question.
So what I'm saying, would he look good with with your guys, Cole Caulfield, and that. Let Connor Bedard. They went to right field selecting Sikorsky this year. Imagine if Montreal gets back-to-back first overall picks.
I don't think it's going to happen, but hey, I'm all for being an optimist here. I would welcome it. So, the other half of this is there was a lot of speculation saying Wright did not want to be a Canadian, but I think Bedard would welcome it. So who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, Montreal, what do you think is going on there right now?
I think they're lost. I think they are lost in the weeds, and they don't have a leader. And I said it from the start. They didn't name a captain, and when you don't name a captain, you don't have someone who can lead you, both on and off the ice. When you don't have that, you're basically a chicken with your head cut off, and that's what this Canadian team looks like. So it's not on Martin St. Louis. It's on the fact that there's a lack of leadership, and they've got work to do.
All right, so as we're currently doing it, Team Canada is playing Slovakia, and here let's get to some quarterfinal results today in the World Juniors. Of course, Latvia winning the regulation. They got 3 games. They won the first game 5-2 over Austria. Then Sweden beating Finland. Finland was up till late in the game. Sweden coming back and scoring 2 straight goals. Sweden 3, Finland 2. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I was watching that entire game, and that matchup, for whatever the reason is, always delivers, consistently delivers. It's always head to head. It's kind of like Canada versus the US, but the European version, and it's just so good. And credit to the Swedes for pulling that off. 2 notable players today. Obviously the goal scorers for Sweden. There was one Swede who had 2 goals today. Apologies for the lack of pronunciation I might have. I believe his name was Bjorkstrand or something close to that. So, really credit to them for putting their heads down and getting the job done. And here's the thing. Getting rid of the Finns is not an easy thing to do. The Finns have shown that in years past, and to be able to pull that off and eliminate them today was, I think, really a remarkable achievement for them.
Czechia defeating Switzerland 9-1. U.S. is dominated Germany. So those 3 games. So if Canada wins, okay, if Canada, and they're currently playing right now, Canada wins in the semifinal matchup, it will be Canada and the United States. And of course, you'll have Sweden and Czechia in the other semifinal. Let's hope Canada wins and all that. But how has, other than the first game when, I don't know, maybe they were sleeping with Czechia, but how has Team Canada, and we talked about Bernard, setting all these point records and goal records and all that, but in your eyes, how have they looked?
They looked lost in the first game. There's no beating around with that, but they got their and they've dominated since. And that was obviously credit to Connor Bedard and Shane Wright, kind of really leading the way for the team. But they have a bunch of, I think, 18 NHL draft picks, and they're all just remarkable athletes and remarkable people. And yes, they faced some adversity. Colton Dach is now done for the tournament, and they had to call up Owen Beck from the OHL's Mississauga Steelheads. But unfortunately, these things happen. But I wouldn't see this in a negative light. Like, yes, Doc is a good player, and I don't mean to demean him in any way, but Canada just got an influx in talent in bringing in Owen Beck. So I think they're better for this, and I think they're going to show that tonight. They can beat the coming up nations by landslides, and I hate to say it, but that's probably what's going to happen tonight. And no team who's being beaten like that should leave this tournament with their heads down. They're up-and-coming nations. Their time will come, but right now, it's Canada and the U.S. The way that hockey is developed in these 2 nations is far more superior to the way it is in Europe, and that's just a fact. So their time will come. We're seeing that with Sweden and Finland. Their time is coming, so no team should be discouraged despite the fact that they're not winning games that they should be winning.
All right, Justin, as we close out this New Year edition of Game Time, you're the media representative for Toronto 6 and the whole entire league is back in action this weekend. Toronto in, not in Montreal, but they play Montreal there. Montreal expansion team, Toronto best team in the league, thanks to Kipling, aka Marty Roberts, right? Thanks to Kipling, Marty Roberts. Never mind. But give us a preview of that game between Toronto and Montreal.
Yeah, it's the first Canadian rivalry in the history of the Premier Hockey Federation. That's the Toronto Six take on the Montreal Force in Rimouski, Quebec. It's going to be a good one. There are some Ontario natives on that team, including Samantha Isbell, who played in the PWHPA last year with Team Harvey's. And so she's a Thunder Bay native who will reunite with Thunder Bay natives and Michaela Cava and Brooke Boquist, all of whom grew up together. So I learned that recently. So that was a really interesting thing. But, Thunder Bay is another small city. So, go figure. And look, these are really talented players on the Montreal Force. A lot of them came from the PWHPA, including goaltender Marie Soleil Deschênes, who I would expect to start one, if not both games. And it's going to be a battle. And Sophie Bate, who has been on the Canadian national women's team with years of experience, has played with Le Canadien de Montréal in the CWHL. It's going to be a battle, but you're putting basically best against best. You look at the Toronto Six here, Brittany, again, Michaela Cava, Brooke Boquist. I could go on. The fact is, and I think we say this all the time, but women's hockey needs more attention. I think a battle like this is going to do just that. It's going to open eyes, and it's going to show people why this is a product they should believe in and put their money towards. And in the upcoming years, this rival is only going to reinstate itself and get better and better and better.
You said some player played for Team Harvey's?
Yeah, Samantha Isbell. She played for Team Harvey's in the PWHPA last year.
Can you ask her a question?
Sorry?
Can you ask her a question for me?
I will not be traveling.
But yeah, you could get her on the phone. That team, does Harvey's make your hamburger a beautiful thing? I want to know if Team Harvey's, do you get better hamburgers than me and you when we go purchase it?
Funny.
No, it's not funny. I want to know. Do some investigation stories here. If you're playing for Team Harvey, all right, are your hamburgers better because their jingle is Harvey's makes their hamburger a beautiful thing? Do they make it better? A team. You're playing for Team Harvey's. Investigate that Thursday on Fired Up Live. I want the answer.
Well, the one thing I will say is the Harveys has been very, very supportive of the Professional Women's Hockey Players Association in more ways than one. So if that means I think they'll take it. But anyways, this is expected to be a really outstanding weekend in Rimouski, and it's going to put this product in the game on the map. And for the Montreal Force,
Montreal, why couldn't they play both games in Montreal?
They're touring this season because they don't have an official home, so they are going around the province of Quebec to do their home games. So it's home but away from home, if that makes sense. And so that's the way they chose to do it this season. And hopefully they should have a permanent home by the start of next season. And what I think it's going to be, this is my own personal speculation because I believe it's where they should be, is the Verdun Auditorium. I think that's the best spot for them. But I mean, it's also, there's a training facility there called Centre 2102. It's run by Danielle Sauvageau, a legendary Canadian women's hockey coach. And that facility is set up for the best in women's hockey. So I wouldn't be shocked to see that become the permanent home next year. But as far as practices, resources, and all that, it's being given to them via that facility. So look, they're gonna be a successful franchise in short time, the same way that we here in Toronto are. And I'm so excited to see, what this rivalry looks like this weekend and what the future of this rivalry will bring.
And another French Canadian lady hockey player, we got a salute her, Marie, the best player and great for 2022 and everything like that. Anything you want to say about Marie Philippe Poulin?
She's a legend. She's won numerous accolades this year, winning the Canadian Press Women's Hockey Athlete of the Year, the North Star Award. Look, she's the GOAT for a reason, right? I mean, you look at the amount of golden goals she scored this year. All for itself. She's a legend. She's going to pave the way for this next generation. And when she chooses her time to leave the game and help grow the game with the Mundians, she will leave this game better than she found it. That is for sure.
All right. And Justin, tell everybody how they could get a hold of you and let us everybody know what you have on tap for 2023.
Yeah, so you can find me on Twitter at JustinVHBS. That's my go-to platform. As far as things coming up, continue to keep your eye on the Toronto Six. We've got a couple months of play left to go before this season comes to a close, but it's going to be an exciting one. We've got battles with Connecticut, Boston, Montreal, Minnesota. So there's a lot of good hockey left to be played, and that's where my work can mostly be done. So keep an eye out for the PHF. The All-Star Weekend is coming up at the end of the month at the Mattamy Athletic Center in downtown Toronto. So a lot to look forward to, and we can't wait.
And Justin, I just got to hear from some guy named Marty Roberts. Ask Justin if he's got my Toronto 6 jersey, Taylor Woods jersey. So
come to a home game, Marty. Come to a home game.
So wait a minute. If he comes to home game, are you presenting a jersey? I want to know. Are you because I'll come if you're going to actually present Marty Roberts, Kipling, Marty Roberts a jersey. I will come down there.
Maybe I'll let Kipling do it.
Don't, because that jersey won't fit Marty because his head is too big. You know what? So like whatever. All right, Justin. Again, Happy New Year. All the best. That's NHL and all ladies hockey and everything like that. And Justin will be back here hopefully on Thursday, Fired Up Live, to talk more about Team Canada again. If Team Canada wins and the U.S. won, Team Canada, U.S. semifinal. And what a game that's going to be. All right. Justin, Happy New Year. All the best. Stay tuned for more great programming here on the Fired Up Network. And thank you to Anthony K. for coming on as well. Thanks, guys.